So the Starlet with Finale is doing a lot to be able to clear out these angles and work out where 100 Thieves are positioned. Out comes the Galactic Legend, powered up by the E from that AoE, and Harvey has been picked, which means that 100 Thieves don't get the BRB. Out comes its Jab, also at the same time as Melania's, as Delina pops his own Starlet ultimate to try to keep a track of Dobby's location and take him down, as Terra's immediately on top of him too.
Delina able to take to the skies, try to find a pick, but he's not able to do so as Vinny goes down into the depths as the Heaven's Retribution tethers him into place. 100 Thieves, they are climbing, they are getting...
The follow-up, the Angela's mobility being able to keep a track of Delina's location too, so that when the Solid looks for one, the Angela is there to be able to tip that damage over into an elimination is absolutely massive. We're about to go into overtime. Reject do not currently have a player on that stage. They're going to be relying on the mobility instead to tap onto one of those positions and keep the overtime bar in play, but Terra is able to take advantage of an isolated Izayaki. No rocket, one less heal, and also no BRV station to bring these players back from the edge.
Somehow Reject are still stalling well, but that's where it ends. As soon as I finish this sentence, 100 Thieves take over round number 1, and Reject need to pick up the pieces for this next round.
Yeah, Dive is so...
have a lot to work with.
Reject think that they've worked out the answer to this. We're going to be seeing Piggy over to the Anna, Gargle onto the Adam, but again, Terra finds these isolated players. No rocket to bring them back, and now it's a 6 versus 5, and 100 Thieves are in the element, just pushing into Reject, playing that rush down. However, the Soulbind buys the opportunity for Reject to flip the script, and they've been able to find one of those trades, but Terra gets brought back, and it's going to be a Galactic Legend instead, supplied by Finale to try and cut them off before they go onto the point.
But it looks like Delina is able to find another Galactic Legend, but isn't able to find one until now as Dobby goes down. But Melania sends 2 down into the abyss, but Marvel is able to trade TTK as well, contributing to this fight as 100 Thieves look to take over yet again. That site still not in control, not in their grasp until now as Reject rejected away from the site.
That's going to be rough as well because they did go down to the Itchjeff. However, that does mean that Itchjeff is not there to interfere with Gargle's ultimate, who is going to be there as TTK. TTK is just scanning, trying to figure out where exactly Reject are going to rotate from, and that's the thing when you have a flying Vanguard. Look at the amount of information that TTK has.
They have no idea.
First being cleared, they have to go onto the point. They're trying to pull him down. He's so low, but he's able to get right back to the LOS of the Cosmic Ion Amplifier. But in the meantime, Reject were able to flip the point.
All gas, no breaks for 100 Thieves. So many ultimates available on Reject, but with the picks coming in left, right, and center, it makes it difficult for Reject to find a way back into the sky. Team healthy and alive, but Delina takes the skies yet again, and Terra needs to find more picks, but Gargoyle will quickly deny them from it.
Oh my goodness, Gargoyle does get taken down by Terra, but he still has...
Oh my god, Dobby!
Dobby gets 2, both the benefits of it, but you have to go off the map. Otherwise, they're just going to be able to recover as Melania shows. Anything you can do, I can do, well, not quite better because Reject had 1 extra player.
Frag is successful. Harvey comes back, brings Terra back thanks to the BRB, I'm sorry, as Delina takes the skies, as everyone 100 Thieves feasting, taking to the skies. They control the skies, they control the seas as Reject fall to pieces. 100 Thieves looking to come back in round number 2, but Marvel wants to keep this all going. A desperate portal attempt as Gargoyle also switches over to the Wolverine to try to kidnap any sort of 100 Thieves member back into the site, but 100 Thieves look to hold, look to stall, but Reject are able to float onto the site, but it might be denying the inevitable. 100 Thieves with a 2-0 in the map will take over Krakoa.
Yeah, those portal plays and also the swaps coming up through from Reject's end was purely treading water. We got to see, like you said, Gargoyle go onto the Wolverine, not just so he can try and find some connections, but also so that he has the passive, that extra level of survivability. Because remember, Terra through that portal's already on a really rough angle for Reject to have to deal with into this. Reject are giving up yet more and more space. As that Winter Soldier is already 50% to his ultimate, because Reject have been playing so spread, there isn't actually going to be something like an invisible boundary to be able to stop it. Terra manages to knock Piggy off the map with the tainted voltage over the pit, and Reject now just have to rely on Gargoyle and Marvel to stall.
but here comes the offensive from 100 Thieves. So many ultimates. It's another Jet NATO, but on the streets of Araco as Delena swallows up all of Reject, but
they think that it's winnable. Psionic Seduction gets entirely prevented by TTK's Eye of Agamotto. A blink and you'll miss an Emma ultimate moment, and Reject now have to rely on the Freedom Charge from Marvel, but that's just not going to be able to stand up to the heals per second by Harvey's invisible boundary, and 100 Thieves are going to be able to win this fight out and only have to fight through one or potentially none.
Reject adjusted their team composition a little bit. Finale on the Phoenix, Gargoyle on the Psylocke. But there is a response from 100 Thieves. Delena does go down empty-handed. Vinny also going down empty-handed as Finale picks up a double with the left and right click simultaneously. But Terra might be the problem for Gargoyle as Gargoyle wants to look for a flank play, but that Daredevil can see it all as Finale, the star of the show, the star from stage 1 and stage 2 in Asia.
Got to that. He's looking for the resets. He's putting the pressure onto the strategists on the sidelines, and the rest of the team have the mobility to be able to keep up with it. Downside, the butterflies from Gargoyle is just pushing 100 Thieves off of the objectives that Reject get an opportunity to regroup, but 100 Thieves are taking players out one by one until Reject are entirely done with their objective presence, and 100 Thieves complete the full push.
They complete the triple. 100 Thieves steam on through as Reject need to find a way back. 100 Thieves.
Force physics comes on for Mizuyaki, displacing Vinny's exit, and Reject are still able to hold their position somewhat in front, but that's exactly what TTK and the Magneto wants to be playing from. Gets to use both the shield and the bubble to keep himself.
Will Reject pull the trigger, whereas 100 Thieves also moving closer and closer to their own ultimates. We might see a 6v6 as the ultimates start raining down as Gargoyle gets picked off the rip as he's forced into the sidelines. Finale and Izayaki teaming up to use their ultimates to try to provide as much damage as possible. There are so many people in the pit, but Finale picks up a double. Melania is able to spit down Marvel, but the rest of 100 Thieves are looking to claw back, kicking and screaming, but Dobie able to swallow up a strategist from 100 Thieves, and he is sent to the abyss, but GTK trades yet again.
He's hold that position around this corner. From Terra, that's what you have to worry about, the corner.
Oh my god.
Stand right to clubs onto everyone from Reject. Izayaki punishes the overextension from the Wolf, however, as Gargoyle goes aggressively into 100 Thieves backline, forcing out the regen domain with the use of the Hurricane, and that should be Reject pushing 100 Thieves.
Are down to one key ability, but look at TTK, he is so close to that Eye of Agamotto, flying, taking to the skies, but will not opt to use it just yet as 100 Thieves find that early pick onto Gargoyle.
Terra swapped over to the Star-Lord as well to play anti-flyer over to Gargoyle on that Storm, who now has to swap over to the Psylocke just to be able to get it a little bit faster. Eye of Agamotto looks for an opening. The force physics is good, but it still finds the connection onto 2. Finale gets the final judgment off. Piggy's going to be able to entirely bodyguard it with the use of the Meteor M.
Oh my god, he goes down.
Have an actual strategist ultimate once the Meteor M has been cooked. Finale is just too vulnerable, and 100 Thieves find the pick to shut the win condition down. Overtime starts to come into play. It's Jeff loops around the objective, and it's Melania who's been able to make away with Piggy.
And that's gonna be it. That's curtains for Reject in this map number 2. 100 Thieves complete the heist, and they will yoink away Araco for themselves.
We still have one more potential map. We might go even further, but for Reject, they have to win this next one. It has to be a convergence pick.
And no one on Reject were able to match the pace that 100 Thieves have been giving them. 100 Thieves, this is a team that like to use their ultimates first. All gas, no brakes. That is their mentality when it comes to these convergence maps. And they do just that. And look at the economy now. Reject still struggling to find key ultimates, whereas 100 Thieves, look at all of them with check marks across the board.
They're just going first. Reject aren't getting any opportunity. They could maybe have used the Sonic Seduction coming on through from the side of Piggy, but unfortunately for them, they're playing into a Seraphim shield in the hands of TTK because they banned out his Emma, which means that everyone stacked up in those hallways are behind the Doctor Strange shield and would have been covered from the Emma ultimate, which meant that they got to go first. with the Ensong Inferno into Reject's backline and then put the pressure in when they caught the disengage. And off of the back of that, they've been able to continue the momentum and still hold on to this high ground. Reject have barely gotten the opportunity to use an ult range, which is where the Phoenix does struggle. She's good in the close and to mid distance in comparison to the Hela. So Terra's having to close up the distance and put all of the pressure onto Finale, utilizing his boosts to clear the off angle of both her and the Invis woman.
Gargoyle gets a kidnap onto Vinny, but Vinny is saved thanks to TTK from the bubble, but Finale in the backline was able to take down Terra, but all the ultimates on 100 Thieves are waiting and ready to be used, but Reject have that same resource as well. A lot of their ultimates could come down into this final fight as we head to the 2.5 minute mark on the timer. Harvey and TTK.
Terra is going to have the Ensong Inferno. Reject don't have anything to deal with it. Izyaki's got to go for the copy. The regen domain is out on the field, as is the last stand, directly into the slow so that the 100 Thieves cannot escape the Wolverine's clutches. And off of the back of that,
oh my god!
It's a huge eat! Oh my goodness, what an anticlimactic end! There are so many players of Reject on that objective, which just means that there's a target range, a bullseye position for Melania on the Jeff to be able to complete the eat. There was a split spotted, and Terra's actually able to clear it. Gargo was looking to take away that high ground. Now he's going to run for that Hela, but he also runs directly into the Jeff, so has to abandon the position clearing of that angle, leaving it up for Terra. As we do see Reject, like you said, going for those side rotations so that they don't have the long angles for the Hela to finish. But even close off of the back of the cooldown Soldier, and it's so devastating for even a hero like Phoenix to go into the 1v1 against the Hela. If the elimination isn't immediate, she always walks away with that pick. As we can see that Finale is off of the Phoenix onto the Hela, and we have ourselves a snipe off. As we're going to see 100 Thieves look to sweep the momentum away from Reject. We've got Terra moving over to the Daredevil, looking to cleave everybody in terms of that melee fight. There's a regeneration domain with the damage boost. Marvel's going to be able to absorb all of the incoming damage, though, with the use of that Meteor Amp. But 100 Thieves still think that this is winnable. Soul Resurgence comes on through. Izzyaki got the copy onto a Hela and makes it work. Phoenix taken off of the map, and Reject with the aggressive copy.
Oh my god.
Unable to shut down 100 Thieves. Reject very much in the driver's seat at the moment with the ultimates that they have available. It's going to be an off-angle approach up against Finale, and there it is. The Hela did not have the protection from Dobby because he was in position to use the Invis boundary with the rest of the team stack instead. Over to the Invis woman instead. Delina is so close to the Dance of the Butterflies though, and it's all going to come down to Izzyaki to hold on to the regen domain. Out comes the Let the Devil out, stacking the damage for TTK, but the interception, the moment that he becomes vulnerable from Gargo with the Wolverine, gets the Feral Lunge and shuts it down. Dance of the Butterflies purely onto Finale's position, will be able to clean up one of those duelist players, but Reject still have the Invis boundary, and 100 Thieves have no choice but to invade into that space or give up second. And Reject are still going to have Finale on this Hela too, so Delana's going to be sticking with the Psylocke, but Terra is over to the Star-Lord instead, really wanting to put pressure onto both the Hela, but also marking Gargo on this Wolverine. Should be able to, with the Mantis damage boost, push up to a very quick Galactic Legend build, as he's just going to go in aggressively, gets the Magneto bubble, everybody looks at him, has to react, and that allows 100 Thieves to close up the distance and play against Reject, who had no choice. They have to use the Emerson Exduction to try and stall out the aggressive play, as they both used it in reaction to Terra's Galactic Legend and have none of the shutdown potential to combine it with Finale's Ensong Inferno to find the pick onto Harvey through the Fate of both worlds. This is going to be such a rough pot of recovery for Reject to be able to turn around, especially because look at how deep 100 Thieves are, all the way into attacker spawn, to make sure that there's no strange portal shenanigans and that there isn't a map flip behind their back. Regroup coming on through from the side of the defense. So for Reject, it's all about preventing it, and that's where the Phoenix gets to come into play. Finale catching so many stuns onto these players as they come out from those spawns, but 100 Thieves are out breaking around the first corner. They've got the invisible boundary, they've got the Meteor, and they're going to have to hold it though as Psionic Seduction comes through first into the Invis boundary. They're looking to heal through from it. The CC immunity of the Magneto, but the a huge block comes on through from Marvel with the curtain, and 100 Thieves still haven't been able to find the eliminations to close out this fight.
Delena has to use this Soul Resurgence to just stall for Vinny's ultimate, whereas Reject dumped a lot of their resources as well, but a great bubble, keeping Izayaki alive, keeping that ultimate alive, and well as Dovi is able to find the opening pick onto Delena, this might be the domino effect that Reject need if they want to force an overtime scenario. 100 Thieves have to rely on Terra with that Galactic Legend, and so does Vinny with that Freedom Charge, but Reject still standing tall, staying on that point as the overtime meter comes up on the top of the screen. Everyone on Reject playing for their lives in this tournament. Everyone knows what's at stake. 100 Thieves want to ruin that push.
Terra is taken down, was so close to the end song Inferno. Terra comes on through with the massive pick, but Reject still have players, and they're getting to focus down every single time that 100 Thieves have to put one of their players onto the objective to keep overtime in play. They go into an outnumbered fight. Regen domain from Izayaki as well is going to be able to keep everybody alive as the Strange Portal comes back into the mix, and Reject gets Finale back into the play. Izayaki's next cycle now of the invisible boundary comes on through. 100 Thieves don't have an aggressive ultimate to cancel it, and that's going to be a full push in overtime in comparison to the 2-minute stock that 100 Thieves find on their clock.
Welcome to overtime, ladies and gentlemen, here on the Symbiotic surface. I believe that is the first overtime scenario we have seen. So 100 Thieves safe passage, a plan that they did in their first time on the offense.
Oh, they've taken away Reject's safe space. That's normally the back room that the backline likes to kite into to disengage the attack from main. And yet again, Reject are forced to flip the map entirely. However, Gargoyle and the Wolverine is not going to give 100 Thieves free entry onto this room. Vinny's looking for the isolation, has to deal with Piggy on the Emma, has been able to wall off the Emma almost entirely, but he's able to make it to the shield of his Strange to get fully stabilized by the rest of this team, and we still have limbo in terms of point control.
But the pressure's all on Reject. They cannot afford to go down. If they do go down, they have to make a long way back onto the point. And with only 100 Ds, only have to control a third of the site. They might be able to just do it. Blink and you miss it. Everyone on 100 Ds locking in, making sure that they get to that third of that site, and it looks like that's all she wrote. 100 Thieves seize the Symbiotic surface, and they will shut down what is left of Reject. 3-0.